This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
How are things with the new guy?
All we do is go out to dinner.
That's it?
I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great.
Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants.
So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh.
No, I got it.
The City Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to city.com/thankyoucards.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
The Ouija board has existed for centuries. It is used to communicate with the dead.
If there's a presence here, please make yourself known. This is a joke. Oh my God. It's not even real, okay? It's just a gun.
Ouija.
We're saying goodbye!
Rated PG-13.
Come on, Harry!
Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
Insane. These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13. Now playing.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
We are living in times where there is an assault on sanity. Political correctness has run amok and logic has been left by the wayside. Do you constantly ask yourself, WTF is going on in this nation? Do you sometimes feel like a stranger in your own country? Well, fear not. You are not alone. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, coming to you from deep inside flyover country with your hosts, V. Wright and Jose Estevez.
Good evening, everyone. It is What the F Wednesday. I'm V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez, your soon-to-be documented Mexican-American co-host. Folks, we are coming to you live, unrehearsed, unscripted, and unpolitically correct. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show. Welcome to What the F Wednesday. V, how are you doing?
I am doing okay. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not place myself, eat so much that I lapse into a food coma so that I can be here tomorrow night,
I already had my first Thanksgiving meal today, and it's rough. It's rough.
How'd that go for you?
Well, we had it's a special school that I do some work with, and we had ham, we had smoked turkey, regular turkey, and just everything. And I mean, it was just wonderful to be there with the kids. And I mean, the food was great, but the problem was it was at 12:30 in the afternoon, so it's like no nap in sight. Got to struggle through the rest of the day. And boy, but I'll tell you what, it was good, and I always look forward to this time of the year and count all of our blessings and be thankful for all that we have. That's for sure.
You know, that's part of it, you know, is just to remember what's important. We have a tendency to forget, and we get so caught up in our day-to-day that we do forget quite frequently.
We do.
Time to cut it out, folks. Tomorrow it's all about it.
Well, and don't forget to set your scales back 10 pounds tomorrow. And that will be in effect for the rest of the holiday season. So, and I was also thinking today, V, that in 1 month from now, it'll be the day after Christmas. Is that a sobering thought or what?
Oh, wow.
Man.
And I haven't even begun my Christmas shopping yet.
Well, that's what they make the internet for. Internet and debit cards or credit cards. Make it happen.
That's
Give the Postal Service some love. Give them some work. Give the UPS and FedEx and all the rest of them. Give them some work.
Well, you know, whatever you got to do.
You better believe it. Well, otherwise you can go out Friday morning. Or, heck, you can go out tomorrow night after the show. There'll be a lot of places open already.
I bet I won't.
I bet I won't either. Friday either.
I'm just guessing. I bet I won't. I don't like being around crowds in the malls or shopping. I've never been one of those women. Now, don't get me wrong. I like to spend money, like any woman likes to spend money.
Sure, understandable.
But I don't like I like going to the mall like when it first opens in the morning and nobody's there.
Oh yeah. And I find myself too when I go to the mall. It's in and out. You know, I've got this route all planned, the shortest possible route to maximize efficiency, in and out. And that's if I need to go. Other than, you know, sometimes they've got a movie theater in there, so you can even access that from the outside usually. But I'm telling you what, crowds around this time of the year and screaming kids and just
and
it doesn't
all
really
the
shout joy to the world
from
to me.
the invaders.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly say joy to the world to me and get me in a Christmas spirit. You know, everybody walking around and trampling over some made in China stuff, you know, that they might get on sale a little bit better, cheaper price today
and
than it will
willing
be
to
tomorrow.
beat each other to death for it for the last one. I mean, seriously.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That goes way back, though. Remember back in the day, it was Teddy Ruxpin dolls and Cabbage Patch dolls. Who can forget that in the 80s?
Oh, wow. I remember those days.
So it goes back quite a ways. But now it's more, I think, about electronic items, you know, the TVs and just your phones and everything else, all these computers, all these electronic items. But that's okay. I'm good to go. I won't need to venture forth tomorrow or Thursday.
No.
Or Friday, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not making that trip. I'll wait. I'll wait and, you know, go in the, you know, middle of the day, one early morning. I get up early anyway, so that's no issue for me.
Yeah, you sure do.
Anyway, it is WTF Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
Guys, let me tell you. In Virginia, a woman has admitted to $7.2 million in child tax credit scams. What the F?
Oh, my word. That ain't exactly chump change either.
Well, what she was doing is having all of these illegals come in and sign tax papers, and she would get them for maximum child credits. And even for children that were like still in like Honduras or Guatemala or Mexico, she was claiming them on their tax returns. And she would do this, and she would get them to agree to accept like $300 of the dollars, and she got the rest. So over the time, she accumulated $7.2 million in fraudulent child tax credit scams. And on top of that, we found out that there was something like another $90 million last year that were fraudulently done on behalf of those fine folks sitting in prison every year.
Oh, my goodness.
Lord
Hey,
have mercy.
Hold on a second. I hear something ringing. Paging Lois Lerner. Lois Lerner, please pick up the half black phone. Paging Lois Lerner. Half black phone, please. Oh my goodness. Scams like that going on, and Lois Lerner's looking at legitimate people that just have a little bit different belief system than she has, and going after them with a vengeance. Wow.
Well, there's a lot to be said for that because, I mean, this is typically the way our government is working, and every day is a WTF day. Honestly.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I mean, we could at least do 3 or 4 WTFs every single solitary day.
Oh, I think everything we talk about in some respect, some way, shape, or form is a WTF. I find myself saying it more and more throughout the day, even in my regular life, not thinking about politics.
No kidding. I pulled into the parking lot at the grocery store today, and some guy's like taking up 3 parking spaces. Listen, dude, if you're driving a Kia, you don't need 3 parking spaces. We'll start there. We'll start there, okay?
Remember back in the day, Kia were those cars that were like buy one, get one free, little throwaway things. It's like, oh, it needs a tank of gas. Well, it's just better to buy a new one. It's cheaper.
I mean, I understand that the spinners on it was probably as expensive as the vehicle.
Oh,
but
Lordy.
It still does not classify to needing 3 parking spots.
That's
I'm
racist.
just saying. I don't care what it is. You call it whatever you want to. I call it fact.
Oh, so the spinners are worth more than the car itself, I'm sure.
That and the tent job. I mean,
oh, that's racist. We better get moving along.
I mean, seriously.
Oh, man.
I mean, I wanted to leave him a note on his car. It's like, dude, were you blindfolded and had a crazed ferret attacking your crotch when you decided to park your car?
Folks, try to get that mental image out of your mind there for a second. Try to bleach out your mind there. Hey, following right along with that, this kind of piggybacks right onto that. Mike Brown, our very own gentle giant from Ferguson, the wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger, 6'3", 300-pound baby that was going to college to be a brain surgeon. I think he was actually going to have a dual major, brain surgeon and nuclear physicist. But anyway, folks, Mike Brown is being considered, obviously posthumously, for Time Magazine's Person of the Year cover. What the F? Is Time fit for anything else other than to be a fish wrapper? I mean, seriously.
You have to consider that because, I mean, remember when they had that Tarzanov Boston Bomber kid on there?
No, I don't. I haven't picked up a Time magazine probably since the 80s. Probably at least since the 80s.
I mean, they're known for their garbage anymore. I mean, it's, there was a time where you would actually read Time magazine and actually maybe garner something from it.
Right.
But that is absolutely no longer the case. Going along with what's going on with Time magazine, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Time magazine had an op-ed in it today in defense of the rioting, and what they said was the violent protests in Ferguson, Missouri are part of the American experience. Peaceful protesting is a luxury only available to those safely in the mainstream culture. What the F?
Peaceful protesting? It looks like to me like they burned half the town. That poor lady that had the bake shop, the guy that Brown had originally tried to take the cigars from and had assaulted, the Indian gentleman. They went back through his place and messed it up and looted it. What are they talking about? Peaceful protest?
Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying the violent protest in Ferguson is part of an American experience, and to have just a peaceful protest like normal folks across the country, that don't want to, destroy their own neighborhoods and stuff, that's a luxury.
Oh, okay.
So you just, if you don't rip stuff apart, it's like you're highfalutin.
Isn't this something? I mean, I got a question for you, too. Let's talk about this a little bit. And I don't want to talk about Ferguson very much. I really don't. I don't want them to get any more notoriety or anything, except for the good people that have been hurt that need help, that we can certainly reach out and help. And also, incidentally, too, folks, that lady that we talked about last night, she got press all over the place. This was a lady that had started by selling her baked goods at I think flea markets and stuff, and then had enough money to start her own small store bakery. And then they came in and pretty much destroyed the place, knocked out the front window. And last night we had talked about she had 2 GoFundMe accounts. Folks, I don't know if any of you helped out, but I'll tell you what, people out there definitely helped out, and she hit some huge. Last I saw this morning, and I'm not sure if it was both accounts or just one account, it was up to 76,000. And she was just as thankful as could be. I saw a little report about her, and she's got 2 kids, single mom, and she's trying to make it work. The American dream. God bless her. So she'll be able to rebuild, it sounds like, although I don't know if she will there or not, but she said she had a lot of orders for the holidays. And like I said, I hope all these other people too, the innocent people that got harmed, like I referred to that gentleman whose store, initially all this went down in when Mr. Brown was trying to take his cigars without paying and he assaulted him. It looks like his place was pretty torn up too. So hopefully all these people will get some relief and get back in the game. Yeah. Oh, anyway, I didn't want to talk much about Ferguson, but what is up now with all these protesters? And this wasn't just in Ferguson. This was Atlanta last night. It was up in somewhere in Minnesota. It was in California. They all go onto these freeways. And these aren't small side roads, folks. These are expressways. And they block traffic. And then I think last night in Minnesota, somebody got run over, because the person in the car, well, you look at the car, and they're smashing the devil out of it. They're breaking the windshield out. I'd run them over too. I mean, seriously, what do you do in that instance? What is wrong with these people? I mean, even an animal has common sense not to go across the road. I mean, deer accepted during certain times of the year. Yeah, and squirrels and stuff. But I mean, they don't do it intentionally. I mean, and of course, and they're an animal on top of it too. They don't have a rational functioning brain. These people go out in front of in expressways. I don't know about you guys. When I'm on an expressway, I'm doing at least the maximum. I'm minimally doing the maximum 70. If that's what it is. So really, you're going to go out into an expressway full of cars?
Well,
and think they're just going to stop for you?
Anybody who's known me for any length of time knows that speed limits, there ain't no stinking speed limits.
Well, I'm not trying to self-incriminate myself, or something like say anything, put something out there. But like I said, minimally, I'm doing the maximum. I'll just leave it at that. Keeping with the flow of traffic, shall we say.
I think last time I got pulled over, it was 92.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
I'm just saying, and that nice Kentucky officer liked my bumper stickers.
Oh, so no ticket?
No ticket.
A friendly warning?
I mean, I almost fell out of the car. But in exchange for that friendly warning, I let him take a picture of the back end of my car.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect. All right, so you got a good guy then. You got a really good guy. That's awesome.
Oh, just the other day I was coming down the highway and I was scooting along and it's not, it's a bypass, and I think the speed limit's 55.
And you can't drive 55, can you?
No, I have a difficult time with that. So I think I was going like 75. All of a sudden, I look in my rearview mirror, and there's a cop right behind me. So I did slow down to 65 as he pulled up alongside of me. He waved, gave me the peace sign, and took off.
Nice. There you go.
I just have that kind of smile.
And the back of your vehicle doesn't leave anything to the imagination about your political stance or where you might lie on the political spectrum from left to right.
And I find that most law enforcement really agree with me.
They do. I think by and large they do too. The type of work I do and everything, they really do. And there's a lot of good people out there. So. But I mean, this whole thing about them running out onto the expressways, heck, I'd run them suckers over too. I mean, there was an instant. Car. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Stop and get out?
Well, there was an instance, and I do not recall which city it was, but I did see the tape where the driver actually did run over and, stopped because someone was pinned underneath their car. And the crowds just went crazy on this car, and the guy took off and stopped for the police a few blocks later. But you know what? I don't think any of these people should be charged. What are you supposed to do? Just sit there and wait?
Yeah,
I mean, why is law enforcement not moving these people out of the road? Why are these idiots allowed to go in the middle of the highway and just stand there? Why are the police not there? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you walk down the highway, a cop is apt to pull up next to you and want to know why you're walking down the highway.
Sure. All the time. Sure.
And yet, go ahead.
Well, and I was just wondering what my state's laws, and I probably need to look into this. Not that it'll happen, but I don't honestly know what my state's laws are regarding if something like that were to happen, worst case scenario like that, and if they're already beating on your car, and if they're armed with even clubs or sticks or, anything like that, and they surround your car so that you can't move, and they start smashing your windows in, are you allowed to shoot them? I mean, I'm being totally serious here, folks. I mean, literally, if I'm carrying... Would you be allowed to shoot them? Are you in fear for your life if there's like 50 or 60 people? Even
why would you
20
not
or
be
30
able
people?
to? Why would you not be able to? If I had 50 people beating on my car, and in that kind of threatening manner, I would fear for my life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you have that many, even though you're in a vehicle, I mean, or do you run them over? I mean, what's the better choice? I mean, what's the more palatable choice? I don't know. I really don't.
I would.
How did the law handle
I don't know. I would venture to say after you shot a couple of them, the rest would move.
Maybe,
I'm just venturing.
You would think, but then again, you're not dealing with normal people if they're going onto an expressway in the first place.
You really aren't. And we were talking about Michael Brown. The church that he has attended to. Well, they initially said by him, and then they corrected it by his family because we all knew the boy didn't go to church.
I don't think he spent much time in church. Maybe
anyway,
when he was young, but
it burnt to the ground last night. It burnt to the ground last night. And what did his fine pastor say? He must have gone to the school of Jeremiah. What was it, Jeremiah Wright? Because he said white supremacists are to blame.
I haven't seen a huge presence of KKK or white supremacists or really any white people other than all the people holding the news cameras and reporting.
Well, one of our chatters brought up an interesting thing. It turns out that one of the people who was murdered in Ferguson in the last couple of days was one of the witnesses at the grand jury.
Mm-hmm.
One of the truthful witnesses.
Okay.
So that's a retaliation, and I don't know what that carries in that state, but here, that carries a very stiff penalty up to and including the death penalty.
Okay. We've got somebody online that's interacting and said in West Virginia you can shoot in your house, in your yard, and to protect your car. So, like I said, I'd still like to clear that up exactly what that means, but I don't know. I mean, this is just seeing those people go onto expressways, what the heck are you supposed to do in that respect?
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you right now, and I've given this a great deal of consideration since our conversation last night when I was sitting here thinking, the whole point in doing this is to have people demanding that National Guard and military and everybody else be called out to deal with this situation, and I don't agree with that. And I know that some people think I'm crazy because I don't agree with that. I think the biggest mistake that was made in Missouri is that the governor and the mayor of that city did not publicly state, if you have property, whether it's a business or a house, you are 100% within the realm of your right to defend it by any force necessary. And if they would have done that, you wouldn't have had this mess, because you'd have had business owners and private property owners sitting up on top of their roofs like the Koreans did when they had issues like this.
Back in Los Angeles.
And nobody messed with their businesses. Nobody messed with their houses.
Those were some of the businesses left standing when it was all said and done. And I'll tell you what, there was a lot of burning going on there.
And I think, I'm going to tell you right now, if it happened in my neighborhood, that's where I'm going.
Right.
And hey, I can sit there and camp out. It's all good.
Exactly.
You move, you become a stain in the streets. All I can tell you.
Good point. Hey, before we go on with another WTF, and folks, if you want to join in tonight, feel free. Call the show, 313-462-0068. Once again, 313-462-0068. 0068. Tell us about your what the F moment from the last week or from today or from whenever. We'd love to hear from you. But before we're getting ready to go into break, but I did want to give a huge shout out today to an unlikely person. Most of you will probably agree with me when I say that. But I want to give a huge shout out to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice of the United States Supreme Court, 81 years old. She just underwent surgery and is recovering rather well, I understand. She got a stent in her right coronary artery, so heart. Well, and that begs now at least we know she does have a heart. Some of us had questioned that. And also, I'm wondering if after this surgery, if that'll cure her of her bleeding heart syndrome. I doubt it, but I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe it will. But Ruth, Miss Ginsburg, however you want to be referred to, the Honorable Ruth Bader Ginsburg, stay alive for at least 2 more years, because the last thing I want to hear is Supreme Court Justice Eric Holder. So Ruth, you got to hold on, okay? You got to do whatever you got to do to stay healthy. Get a taste tester. Do whatever you got to do. Stay healthy. We need you. And can you believe that's coming out of my mouth, folks? The day that I would say we need Ruth Bader Ginsburg to stay in the Supreme Court for 2 more years. Oh.
Well, I mean, he's already had 2, and the fact of the matter is that she may retire before he leaves office for that very purpose, and that's a scary thought.
I'm telling you. Well, at least now, and this was one of our things going into the election too. A lot of us were saying, if we didn't get a majority or keep the majority in the House and then get it in the Senate, that could be a problem. Like if you said, if there had to be someone else nominated for whatever reason it might be, on the left side of things or on any side of things really, that that could be a potential issue. But we do have majority in both houses, so I think it would be more difficult. But nonetheless. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And I'm telling you what, we've got to keep her right where she's at. And, maybe she can take the wise Latina under her wing. And what's the other one's name? Kegger? Kegger or something like that. I don't know. The other one that he appointed. I mean, he gave us 2 doozies already, that's for sure. Two is enough for him. I think they'll stick with us for a long time, and not in a good way either.
Well, given the fact that both of them are rather hefty, we can pray for a heart attack. I mean,
well, this conversation could go south real fast. So there's so many things I want to say about Kegger and the wise Latina, but common decency and decorum prohibits me on the radio. I'll have to just keep those in my mind, and people can try to imagine what those might be. And trust me, you can't.
Guys, I'd like to remind you that we will be live tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern here at the WTF Whiskey Tango Foxtrot show. If you guys don't want to call in with the things that you're thankful for or an event that you specifically recall that just touched you so much at Thanksgiving and you were so grateful for, please message Jose or I on Facebook, or go to our website, thewtfradioshow.com, and leave it in our comments section. And we'll be glad to read it on air for you. We don't necessarily have to identify you. That will be your option. But, tomorrow's show will all be about giving thanks and being appreciative and the things that we have gratitude for. So you guys make sure to tune us in for that. In addition to that, you guys don't forget, we have some great programming on this network. We've got the Right Side Patriots. We have the state legislators of the Round Table. We have some wonderful DJ shows. We have Living Right for preparation and more of along that line. We have some great programming, and we have some wonderful programming coming very soon. So you guys make sure to check out our schedule at CPRWorldwideMedia.com.
Definitely, folks. And we will be live tomorrow night. No, we're not nuts. We're going to have our fill of food, and it might be a good night to introduce us to your relatives if you can even talk to each other or be in the same room by that point at 7 p.m. Eastern. we'll be a little bit more mellow. We're not going to really delve into politics. We don't need politics tomorrow. Just, thankfulness about what's going on. And I mean, if it involves politics that way, but we're not going to really get down on anybody. We already know that the scumbag is in charge of the country, and he's doubling down like never before. And we all know what's going on. So tomorrow we're just going to keep it a little bit light and definitely be thankful. There is so much to be thankful for. We have to take a break. Oh,
and if you've got a great WTF joke, send it our way.
Sure. Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys can come up with some good zingers out there. I know a lot of you can. So share them with us, and we'll share them with everyone else out there.
We'll be back in a moment.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
How are things with the new guy?
All we do is go out to dinner.
That's it?
I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great.
Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants.
So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh.
No, I got it.
The Citi Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to citi.com/thankyoucards.
The design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13. Now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back to What the F Wednesday. I'm V. Wright.
And I'm Jose Estevez. Welcome back, folks.
And this is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot show. Guys, we got a lot of things going on. Another what the F moment. The Church of England says Sunday morning services are too inconvenient for church service. So now they're opting for midweek service. I kid you not. What the F? Really? What? It's too inconvenient to go on a Sunday morning to church.
Oh, my. Well, that's the way things are headed, sadly. Of course, I just love those churches that you go to on Sunday morning that have to have like a rock concert sound level. It's not even accompaniment, folks. I've been to a couple of churches. I've never heard anything like it. I mean, it blows you right out of the seats. It's crazy at levels that I've never heard, and it looks like they've got a rock band up there. It's like, what the heck? So maybe I'm old-fashioned. Maybe you love that. That's fine. I'm just telling you, my opinion is, wow. Oh, my goodness. But now Sunday morning's not going to be good for some people, huh?
Yep, just not going to work. Just not going to work.
Okay. So middle of the week works better for people? Really?
I would say probably like noon on Wednesday.
Oh, my.
Unreal. But this, we've been seeing this, move to remove God, and we're seeing it globally. There's no way to get around that. We are seeing it globally, to remove Christianity, and the fact that the churches are going along with this, I find absolutely appalling.
Yeah, definitely. Well, then you've got the people that follow people like the guy with the pretty teeth down in Texas. What's Joel Osteen? I mean, come on. He says things like ice cream is cold, pizza is good. And people they can't send him money fast enough. I don't get it. Jimmy and Tammy Faye, remember them? Oh, gosh, remember that train wreck that ended in the 80s or early 90s? Remember Tammy Faye Baker? Folks, yeah. Jim and Tammy Faye had nothing on these new charlatans like Joel Osteen.
Yeah,
nothing.
that $5,000 a month budget she had for eyelashes and lipstick just couldn't hold a candle to what they got going on these days.
But people still, people just, I guess they have a need for something, and these people are able to fill it. I don't know how it works, but
I can tell you what it is. I can tell you exactly what it is. They truly do, and I use this term, and I might tick some people off, but I do that typically. So what's new? Just prepare yourself, folks. There are too many charlatans out there bastardizing the gospel, and they are wanting to send everyone out with a feel-good message. I'm going to tell you what I told the pastor at my church. Terry and I sat down and talked one day, and I told him, I don't come to church to be entertained. I come to be educated.
Right.
And that is truly what I go to church for. I want to learn something, see something in a light that I may have misinterpreted or not looked at correctly, misread, misunderstood, what have you. And I'm going to tell you something else. If I don't feel like a heathen when I walk out the door, I told him, you're not doing your job.
Yeah,
I shouldn't feel good when I walk out that door. I shouldn't feel like, well, I did my thing for the week. Aren't I a good girl? Because let's be honest, except through mercy, I'm not worthy.
Yeah, good point. And doesn't it say, too, and of course maybe they just pull that part out of their Bibles. I don't even know what Bible they use. But doesn't it say something in the Bible, too? It will be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And if you don't think Joel Osteen and guys like that are rich, then you and I have a totally different perspective on things. I mean, they are just filthy rich. And I just don't get it. People just keep sending them money.
Well, I mean, they did it with the Bakers. They did it with Jimmy Swaggart.
Oh, and it happened before them. And there's a lot of other people, too. He's certainly not the only charlatan out there. He's one of them, but there's plenty more.
But, the thing is the point of it is to make everyone acceptable, to make everyone feel like no matter what you do, it's okay, it's all forgiven, go say 10 Hail Marys and all is well.
Right.
And I cannot agree to that. And I know that most people would not see me as someone who has a strong religious belief, or someone you would classify as the example of Christianity, because God knows I am so fallen, I am so sinful, I have a mouth like a sailor. I say things not necessarily with the intent to hurt people's feelings, but just to be straightforward and honest, and sometimes that is the result. And so people don't see me in that light, but let me tell you something, don't ever question my faith. I can go right now, and I'm okay with it because I know where I'm going through mercy.
There you go. There you go. Hey,
that is how strong it is.
And speaking of scumbags, I just wanted to seg into this, and you're not even prepared for this, V. This is just totally something I'm just going to do real quick. Did you see the story about these New York Times reporters that reposted Officer Darren Wilson's home address?
Yes, I did, and I helped spread theirs.
And turnabout is fair play. And guess what, folks? She lives in Chicago, Illinois, and he lives in, let's see, his name. Okay, what's their names? Julie Bosman and Campbell Robertson. He lives in New Orleans, Louisiana, down there, and she lives in Chicago, Illinois. And boy, their names and their pictures and their houses and their addresses are all over the interwebs. Wow. Turnabout is fair play. How do you like that, folks?
Well, there are people who are looking up the addresses of the editors and the top echelon that would have proved them posting that story so that they too can get their addresses posted and made widely available because turnabout is fair play. That is absolutely ridiculous to put those people in that much harm. They've got a whole nation of individuals that are stopping traffic, that are burning things, and let's be honest here, this is not just Ferguson. I heard somebody say today, oh, well, Ferguson was a ghost town last night according to some news source, and I told him, I said, they lied because there was incidents last night.
There was.
There were fires, there was looting, there was more of the same. Not on the grand scale of the first night, but it still did occur. And let's take into account that it happened in Boston, it happened in New York City, it happened in Chicago, happened in Los Angeles, happened in Oakland. Oakland, they're lighting fire to stuff there too. Who does that? What the F?
Good point.
What is wrong with you people?
Oh, you can't. Oh, V, you can't say you people. You can't say. That's racist.
What? I saw some stupid young white kids out there being just as dumb and getting their butts beat for being out there by the people that they were out there with.
Right. Yeah.
So yes, you people you are so mentally deficit. This stuff does not even affect you. This was a small town problem that should have been handled in a small town manner. And that you guys bought in to this media hype, and now you're ready to do that crap all over. Bring that crap to my street.
Well, didn't Rudy Giuliani, the ex-mayor of New York City, who's also, I think he was a federal prosecutor, but a really bright guy nonetheless. I kind of like him as far as because he's still a politician, but I do kind of like him. But I think he said today, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you were looking at the news a lot more than I was, but I think he said something like they ought to go after the people and prosecute the people that kept putting out the false information that he was shot in the back, when indeed it was found out that he was shot in the front, because he said that would have stopped everything to begin with, or at least minimized it a lot more than it has. And even at this point, some people are still acting like that the narrative is he was shot in the back, which would indicate something totally different than what actually happened. And he's right.
Well, the other person he said that should be prosecuted is Michael Brown's stepfather, for standing up there and screaming at the protesters, burn this bee to the ground.
Right.
Repeatedly. Well, somebody took him at his word and hit his church.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point.
The insanity, and it's like people never learn. I remember the riots in New York and the riots in California and Los Angeles, and all they did was destroy their own, and it wouldn't have mattered if they'd have gone into somebody else's neighborhood. All they would have done was been splots on the pavement. They have to stick to their own. That's the only place they're safe.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go into somebody else's neighborhood and act a fool.
No. Good point.
Because you don't know how crazy those people are. And let's get it clear, just so that we understand, black folks, y'all think y'all are crazy because y'all hang in your own neighborhoods. Y'all don't have clue how crazy some of us white folks are.
Good point.
I'm just saying.
We just don't show it so much.
But
we keep it under wraps, but yeah.
Yeah, but there is true crazy running into the current. Don't get it twisted.
Hey, V.
What?
Is it What the F Wednesday?
It is What the F Wednesday.
Well, I've got one for you. Hey, folks. If you're not giving enough money already to all the illegal alien invaders, and don't forget last night at the end of the show, we talked about that now there's actually a $3,000 bonus for companies that hire illegal alien invaders over you, naturalized citizens or citizens that were born here, citizens of the United States. That's in Obamacare, folks. So guess what? The U.S. government is going to subsidize green trains in Mexico at a reasonable cost of $600 million.
Only $600 million? What the F?
Folks, this is green trains. I don't think they're going to paint them green. I think they mean, trains that run on hopium and changium and things like unicorn farts and Skittles and cool things like that.
Oh, now wait a minute. Goodness. Wait a minute. They aren't going to smoke Swisher Sweets, are they?
Oh boy. There's two ways you can translate smoke Swisher Sweets. He got smoked all right.
Well, let's remember the last pictures we saw of those nice trains, that nice train system that they have down in Mexico. It was kind of filled with passengers.
Yeah,
with
the
passengers.
Beast, the one that runs south to north and north-south right through the country. I mean, holy smokes, but we are going to subsidize green trains in Mexico at a reasonable cost of $600 million. Because,
now,
we aren't giving Mexico near enough yet. We have to give them just a little more.
Now, I wonder if that was the trade to get Sergeant Andrew Tamarisi back.
Oh, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Like he had anything to do with that at all.
No, he absolutely. Well, I mean, I was just throwing it out there as a plausible, reasonable thought, but of course not. This is not a plausible, reasonable regime with the African in charge.
And you know what? Something just popped into my mind when you said that, V. I am so glad to not see, and maybe it's just because I don't watch that much TV, but I have not seen a whole lot of news about the sergeant after he's come back. And I think that's good because he needed to get the PTSD taken care of. But I think that also says a lot about him and his family, and they're not going to go out and be media whores. And like we all thought all along, just good people, and they're taking care of themselves, and God bless him. I'm so glad he's back, and it's Thanksgiving and the holidays, and he'll be back, and hopefully he's getting the help he needs. He got a nice donation from Donald Trump, who, love him or hate him, folks, he's definitely out there, but I think his heart's in the right place in a lot of respects. And Montel and so many people, the lady from Fox News whose name I can't remember, did so much good work trying to get him back. So but yeah, so many people
Greta
people
Van
would use
Susteren.
Yeah, Greta, exactly. So many people would use this, as for their 15 minutes of fame and get their face plastered everywhere. But I haven't seen that, at least in my experience, or at least in the little circles I run in. I haven't seen that, and I'm glad he's back, and they're hopefully taking care of business, and we're glad to have him back on American soil.
Well, I do know that he did do an interview with Greta Van Susteren. Him
Good.
and Jill
did.
Yep,
definitely.
Rightfully so.
Sure.
So.
Oh, yeah. Because people want to hear the story. Sure. Definitely.
But you're absolutely right. And Jill and I had talked about that prior to his return home, that the priority when he came home was to make sure that he was okay. And that was her, but that's her child. Of course, that's her priority.
And she's a nurse on top of it, so she's got that motherly instinct, plus that whole nursing thing going on, too.
So that was, and I did encourage her to get in touch with John Bennett of Oklahoma, because he does have that bill going for hyperbaric treatment for PTSD, which he says is effective, and you have to take his word for it somewhat because he does suffer from PTSD.
Right. Yeah.
God bless him, but this train system down in Mexico, guys, we already budget $500 million a year to Mexico for their military. We we have our invaders sending back an estimated $56 million a year to Mexico to infuse
it was more
in their.
Wasn't it billion or?
It may have been $1 billion.
It was a huge
56
amount.
billion.
Huge amount.
To infuse into their economy.
Right.
And now we're giving them $600 million for green energy. Now, let's look at this in the big scheme of things. Look at China.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Japan. Look at these other foreign countries that have implemented monorail systems, things like that. Has their green train system stopped their pollution problem?
Funny how that works.
I'm just asking.
Funny how that works.
And you know what? You have another WTF that kind of ties into that. So I'm going to let you run with that one.
Oh, with the immigration?
No, I was thinking regulations.
Oh, yeah. Folks, I don't know. And once again, so much has come out in the last week or so. Basically, your El Presidente, who now fancies himself as a dictator or a emperor or some royalty. I don't know what he fancies himself as, but
he is queen. He's the African queen.
That sounds like the name of a movie or something like that. But
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
He's not trying to moderate. Bush in 2004, he started to moderate. Clinton even, I mean, Clinton's a political animal if there ever was one. He moderated back when the Republicans took over in the middle of his presidency, but this guy is going, I mean, balls to the wall in the opposite direction. So, folks, what we have here is they are releasing now, I don't have it right in front of me, 3,400, I'm going off of my memory, 3,400 new, V, help me out here.
3,415.
That's right. New, hold on, I don't have it in front of me.
New regulations.
New
not
regulations.
Pages. Not pages.
No. Those are individual regulations, folks. Implementing tougher air quality standards for ozone. I mean, this is going to be all the green stuff. See, because now he's got the immigration thing, so he's trying to satisfy them. And now the next people that he has to, whose rear ends he needs to kiss are going to be all the greenies. And this is going to have to do with greenhouse gas emissions. This is going to have to do with climate change, whatever words we use for it nowadays. This is what this is going to be about. This is going to hurt you in your wallets when it comes to electric, when it comes to natural gas, all of the above, because of all the regulations they're going to implement. 3,415.
What the
new,
F?
What? I'm telling you, we don't. It's 34.
3,415 regulations. What the F? Who sat for the last year writing those?
Can you imagine what's involved in that, folks? And we don't have a complete list yet. But once again, is anybody else talking about it in the mainstream media? No, of course not. Is anybody talking about what might be involved in those 3,415? First of all, folks, do you think those 3,415 things are going to enrich in your life, are going to help ease your burdens as your day-to-day, work and going about your life and going about your business? Or what do you think if they're coming from him?
Well, let's look at it. It empowers the things that we do know about it. Now, of course, it has not been there. We are getting glimpses of it. We are not getting the full report that is due to be released, I think, this evening or tomorrow.
Oh, gee, really? Right before the holiday weekend? Imagine that.
But we know that it does include an attack on coal. It does include an attack on clean air. Now, let us remind you, folks, that we are one of the cleanest air-burning countries in the world.
Oh.
It vastly empowers the EPA. The EPA is getting so much authority and so much power out of this, and I pray all prayers that come January that this is one of the first things that they do is in the dozens of things that they have to get done immediately. One of the first things I'd like to see done is roll back the EPA. Guys, part of this is control of water on private land, both on the surface and beneath it, so that they can come in and dictate to you as an individual private property owner what waters that you can use on your own property. Now, how long do you think it's going to be before they regulate you to death with that?
Isn't that something?
I mean, the depth of your well, how much water you're using out of your well, how much you're tapping into the aquifer system, that pond, that mud puddle on your property that the livestock, the deer, from the acreage next door come in and lap at. God forbid you've got some unknown toad or a water snake of some sort. Oh, wait a minute. I wonder how long it'll be before grass snakes and glass snakes are threatened species.
Nothing would surprise me at this point.
Water moccasins. Oh, my God. Can't kill a water moccasin.
Can't kill. They can kill you, though, quite handily, actually.
Well, so can the government, but,
And that's very true. It says here that these rules alarm some Democrats, such as Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear, who pleaded with Obama last week to back off, quoting, "The growth of our economy is dependent on it," he wrote. This is big trouble. And, of course, Kentucky, that's coal country. This is gonna hurt. But, of course, they're trying to make the air safer to breathe, so people don't suffer with asthma and different things like that. So,
because the air in China does not reach the United States. Neither does the leak from Fukushima. It doesn't reach the United States.
Is that Fukushima reactor? Is that thing still? I think that thing is still spilling stuff out. I don't think they have it capped yet.
It is, and in addition to that, what was it, last week or week before, they had yet another earthquake.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't think that's capped yet. Like the one in Russia, what was that one? The big one in Russia. They poured God knows how many thousands of tons of cement on it to finally cap it off. But I don't think Fukushima is yet. But they don't. You notice nobody talks about it. It never gets any news or anything like that. Even though it's sitting right on the ocean there.
But that air in China, I mean, it doesn't reach the United States. It doesn't pass global. I mean, when we have volcanic action, the jet stream carries the particles around the globe, and that's one of the reasons that they cut off flights and warn people from vast faraway places. But that only applies to situations like that. It does not apply to the Chinese smog problem. But of course, we've got to take care of ours now. Well, while we are one of the cleanest air countries in the world, but China doesn't even have to start considering what they're going to do until 2030. And that's no lie. That's the deal that the chief resident of the White Mosque made with the Chinese government when he was there earlier this month.
Right.
Was, we will take care of ours now. We'll slam ours down now. You guys just promise you'll think it over by 2030.
Yeah, once again. Because, if we fix our little problems, and guaranteed we're not, perfect, we're not neutral as far as the pollution goes and that sort of thing. But folks, America, we're one small part of a huge globe, a huge world out there. So if we tighten our stuff up even more, and maybe in some cases it's doing the right thing, I'm sure nothing like what they're planning to do. But once again, how does that affect everyone else? I mean, come on, this is just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it is just more power grab at absolutely anything and everything that could possibly be controlled by the government, and that's what they're going for.
Yeah, does does the Constitution say anything about the government doing all this stuff? I mean, come on. One of our first shows, we said that basically all the United States has to do is, I believe, have a military, right, to protect the states.
Well, that's
one of the main obligations of the United States. And look at what all the things they're doing, and the amount of money involved. Even more, we're talking billions, if not trillions, of dollars. But of course, we have lots of money. There's just money trees all over, and we just go pick whatever we need off of it. Of course, we do actually kind of do that. We print it out of the air, basically. Keep pumping, Fed pumping and stuff. I don't know, whatever.
Well, guys, we've reached the top of the hour. I love that. That sounds so positive.
I get so frustrated.
We've reached the top of the hour. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
How are things with the new guy?
All we do is go out to dinner.
That's it?
I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great.
Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants.
So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh.
No, I got it.
The Citi Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to citi.com/thankyoucards.
The most amazing thing about the Ford Fusion isn't the way it looks. The most amazing thing is the way it sees. With blind spot technology, a lane keeping system, and a standard rear view camera, the Fusion is ready for whatever comes your way. Go prepared. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13. Now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
This ain't no rag, it's a flag and we don't wear it on our heads. It's a symbol of the land where the good guys live. Are you listening to what I said? You a coward and a fool and you broke all the rules and you ruined our American pride. And now we're coming with a gun and you know you're gonna run, but you can't find no place to hide. We're gonna hunt you down like a mad dog or hound, make you pay for the lie. of messing around, and now it's time to rock and roll. These colors don't run, and we speak as one. When we say united, we stand. If you mess with one, you mess with us all. Every boy, girl, woman, and man. You've been acting mighty rash and talking that trash. Let me give you some advice. You can crawl back in your hole like a dirty little mole, but now it's time to pay the price. You might have shot us in the back, now you have to face the fact that the big boy's in the game. And the thunder's been crashing and the lightning's been flashing, and now it's getting ready to rain. This is the United States of America, the land of the brave and free. We believe in God, we believe in justice, we believe in liberty. You better pull that out chain, we should have done something about you a long time ago. But now the flag's flying high and the fur's gonna fly, soon the whole world's gonna know. This ain't no rag, it's a flag, old glory, red, white, and blue. The stars and the stripes, when it comes to a fight, we can do what we have to do. Our people stand proud, the American crowd's faithful and loyal and tough. Are we as good as the best, or better than the rest? You're gonna find out soon enough. When you look up in the sky and you see the eagle fly, you better know he's headed your way. But this ain't no rag, it's a flag and it stands for the USA. USA! 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 When you look up in the sky and you see the eagle fly, you better know he's headed your way. Cause this ain't no rag, it's a flag and it stands for the USA.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome back, guys. It's WTF. It's What the F Wednesday, and I am V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez. And indeed, it is What the F Wednesday. All day long.
I always sound like the crazy one, and you always sound like the voice of reason.
What? Oh my gosh, I sound like a voice of reason?
Yeah.
On what planet is this?
That would be this planet called Earth.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's, well, thank you, I guess, but I'm not sure how many people would agree with you on that. Not quite sure how that all works.
Well, we were talking about all these regulations, this 3,415 regulations that the African and his regime are going to let loose on us within the next probably 24 hours, which will be an interesting read of probably 10,000 pages, I'm just guessing.
Right.
That empowers the EPA and the IRS with, unilateral power and control over our day-to-day lives, all for saving us from ourselves. God help us, we should not be allowed to think for ourselves. We're not bright enough to do that.
And V, you may not even realize it, but you just nailed it. Power and control, the words you said. That's what it's all about?
Well, absolutely it is.
That's totally what it's all about. It's not about doing the right thing for anyone, much less the planet.
It is
it's all
not
about power and control.
They
don't care about the planet
for the
anymore
greater
than they care
good.
about the babies that they murder by the thousands every day. They don't care about any of that. Nothing at all. It is about power and control. You said it perfectly. Thank you.
Well, I mean, they sell it as a bill of goods for the greater good.
Well, because the idiots that follow them and that live on their every word, hang on their every word, believe it.
Well, I mean,
we're
that's
not talking about this.
Look at the tree huggers. Seriously, you've got people living in the forest that are kissing trees, for God's sakes.
Did you see the new ad for Subaru where they literally hug a tree? Oh my God! I'm like, are you serious? And there it is. They literally are. They get out of their Subaru and they're hugging a tree, and they're so proud of their little kid because he's a tree. I mean, I'm like, wow. Folks, when you go buy a new vehicle, go look at Ford. They're the ones I'd go look at if I were you.
Yeah, and by the way, we want to thank Ford for sponsoring us.
Yes, we do. We love Ford.
Yes, we do. Along with, Citibank, of course, and
Yes.
Universal Studios. We appreciate them.
Mhm.
And, of course, Citizens United, who were one of the first sponsors of the show. And so, we definitely appreciate them. But no, as we talk about this, all of these regulations and everything else, we have to look at it in the grand scheme of things and what the agenda is. And of course, at first it was global warming, but they can't use global warming because people don't buy it because things are getting cooler, so let's rebrand it.
So we had to change that. That doesn't quite work.
Yeah, Al, come on, buddy. We've got to come up with something else. Get your team together. Let's have a feel-good moment here and motivate some people to come up with something different. And what did those geniuses come up with? Climate change.
Climate change now. Now it's climate change, which I thought it was always called weather. But foolish me, raised back in the day before computers and stuff, we didn't know a whole lot back then. We just kind of called it weather.
Well, speaking of weather, in case some of you guys haven't noticed, winter came a little early this year.
Did. Well, that's an understatement.
Well, don't feed into Al now. I have to send you to visit him
I won't. You know me. Oh. Heaven forbid, perish the thought.
But, even the Huffington Post got on board. I mean, they did a story about a solar lull bringing in the little ice age. And guys, anyone that knows anything historically about the weather and what has occurred on, this great globe, I know the Muslims don't agree with me. It is a globe, folks. It's a globe. The world is round. It is not flat. I promise. On this globe we reside on, periodically, the weather patterns kind of go in a pattern.
Right.
And part of that pattern is we have solar flares, and I know the sun the sun revolves around us in Muslim speak, but and intelligent folks speak, educated folks speak, we revolve around the sun, and we garner a lot of our heat from the sun, and the way that we do that is through solar flares. The sun emits gases that spew all over our galaxy. And yes, we have one of those, Mr. Muslims.
Ford made a nice car, maybe called the Galaxy, too. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, anyway, so these solar offshoots come in a pattern. And when there are a lot of them, as there were 20, 30, 40 years ago, we kind of have conditions where we warm up. And when they ebb off, we kind of cool down. And back in Ireland, we had a little ice age, and it created a potato famine, and that's because that's about the only thing that they could get anything to grow. Right. Because of the cooler temperatures. Anyway, scientists are now saying that we are reaching that point again in the global weather pattern, historical weather pattern of our globe. And yes, it's round, Muslims. Well, let me reiterate.
Hence the name globe, indicating, oh, well, whatever. I don't think there's any reaching them.
But this is not just some anti climate change scientists that are out there trying to get their name out. This is the science division of NASA. This is our national observatory. these are the people that are saying this. We have seen a lull, and we're anticipating a few decades of quite cooler temperatures. They're saying probably around 30, but that could easily go up to 100 years.
Right.
As it has in the past, and temperatures drop dramatically below the norm. And we see, situations like we currently see, in November that we're complaining about, but we could see those same weather patterns occurring in September.
I hate to think of that.
Well, I know it's not a real pleasant thought for you guys up north.
I hate to think of that.
But it has occurred before. It's destined to occur again, and they are saying, scientists. Some scientists saying that we are entering that stage again. They're not saying we're on the cusp or it might be happening. They're saying that that the solar flares that we rely upon to keep our weather temperatures at somewhat the norm that they've been over the last 17 or 18 years, where it's not unbearably too hot nor brutally too cold, will be, are coming to an end because the solar flare activity has dropped. They say normally they anticipate 1,500 solar flare activities to maintain us like that, and we are seeing somewhere in the range of 24 to 40. So that is a dramatic drop, and the Maunder minimum did occur from 1645 to 1715. The last time we had a little ice age.
Right, and by ice age, of course, you're not talking about the entire Earth being covered with ice and all of us turning into oil, right?
No, absolutely not. What we're talking about is a cooling of such that it throws off the growth cycles of crops, that winters are dramatically more brutal and last significantly longer. Even in warmer climates, you will see a cooling trend. Now, that is not a global epidemic. As we all know, that hit, from 1645 to 1715, that hit Europe. And Europe got slammed hard. Scotland and Ireland got hit really hard.
Good thing they didn't have an Al Gore back then. Of course, he would have become rich.
Well, they had a king at the time that was opposed to eating potatoes because it was peasants' food. But by the end of it, he was eating potatoes.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like me some peasants' food, and I look like it too.
Vichyssoise became a mainstay on the French table. I'm just saying. It's amazing what you'll do when you're hungry. And of course, that's where a lot of our liquor products came from, was from the potato at the time.
Now, V, we're not going to go into the whole Ireland and alcohol thing, are we? We're not going to go there tonight, are we?
Well, I'm just giving the potato its due credit.
Okay. I mean, I don't think we need to go there and offend a whole entire country.
Hey, I am of Irish descent. And I am a Native American, so I can say what I want to according to Obama. Don't you have a story on that?
Which one? Obama opening his mouth?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, folks, this is, and we're kind of joking around a little bit, having a good time, but this is serious. He was at Chicago on Tuesday. Your resident of the White House was there. And he was talking about his executive action on immigration in a predominantly Polish-American neighborhood. And he was frequently interrupted by hecklers. And, of course, these hecklers were not heckling him because they were mad at him. Well, they were upset with him, but not because of what he did, because he didn't go far enough for them. So basically they were pro more amnesty than what he was going to give. So they were heckling him. But anyway, I want you to hear in his words what he said. And, folks, this is big. This is very, very big. Quote, what you're not paying, and this is him addressing one of the hecklers. quote, what you're not paying attention to is the fact that I just took an action to change the law. So that's point number one. Point number two, the way the change in the law works is that we're reprioritizing how we enforce our immigration laws generally. But that first part of the sentence, folks, what you are not paying attention to is the fact that I just took an action to change the law.
What the F indeed?
What the F indeed? He doesn't fancy himself as a president anymore. This is not... I mean, wow. And boy, I don't know where... He must have been off teleprompter or something like that. There's no way anybody wrote that for him to say. There is no possible way anybody would have done that.
Well, would that not be an opportunity, since it's public information, he stated it, he can't deny it was him, to rush that bill through legal challenges and say, he has no right. He is the president of the United States. It is not his job to write or change law.
Isn't that something?
Is that not an overreach of power? Is that not a complete dismissal of both Congress and Senate?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's further than an overreach of power. I think it's outside of the Constitution. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people are going to be using those words against him or trying to at some point, because, and of course we all knew he did that. That's what he did. But for him to come out and say that, it's like the oh crap moment. Wow, he said what?
Yeah, he feels like the Teflon Don. He has got Gotti syndrome right now.
Yes, he does. And you know what I call it? I don't know.
No, go ahead. Tell us what you call it.
He's got pigmentation immunity. He really does. And, people say that's a racist thing to say. No, it's not, folks. He can't be touched because of his color. Not because of the content of his character. Nothing else he's not judged on anything else. He's just simply judged as the first black president of the United States, and nobody's afraid to go after him because they'll be called a racist. Or, why are you doing that to him? You're just picking on him because he's a black man. Well, his mom was white, folks, and quite frankly,
he's not a black man. He's a African.
Regardless to me, it's of no regard to me what color he is. It's what he's doing, and it's the things he's doing that are concerning to me.
Absolutely.
And the way he's acting.
Let's trade him out. I would trade him out any day of the week with Herman Cain.
Sure.
With Alan West. Sure. With Ben Carson.
Well, okay, maybe.
I mean, hey, if you're choosing between the two, seriously?
Yes, exactly. I totally.
I mean, I would take Mr. Scott of South Carolina over him.
Amen. I wholly agree. But he
has no experience that I know of. I didn't watch his campaign, but I do know that he is a Republican and he is a black man, and I would surely put him in the White House over the piece of garbage that we've got there now.
And he won in the Deep South, and the first black man to ever be elected, right? So, I mean, he's got a lot of that going for him. He must have, the people must have liked him for some reason.
Well, you can bet it didn't have anything to do with his skin color. You can bank on that.
Probably the content of, what he was saying, his character, and yeah, what he was saying. They were judging him by what he was saying. Maybe what he's done. I'm not really sure what his background is. But I'm going to tell you, and like I said, don't take me out of context, and it's my opinion. I call it pigmentation immunity, and he has it, and so does Holder, and so does a lot of other people, and they use it, and that's the problem. They should not. The skin color should have nothing to do with it. But boy, they use it, and they use it, and they use it.
Well, I mean, you've got another thing there talking about how they use it. And when I say I'm running a great deal of Irish through my blood and a great deal of Cherokee American, I guess that gives me a little more viability in my voice, having some credibility to it, because it does most definitely, according to the chief resident in the White Mosque. Because did he not say today that if you weren't an American Indian, you had no right to say anything to anyone about immigration?
Did he say that?
Yes. He did say that. In a true WTF moment.
Wow.
It doesn't matter if you were born here. It doesn't matter how many generations you've been here. You didn't build that, so
he
shut
just
up.
changed the whole law. What gives him that right then, according to that? I mean, he admits he changed the law. I mean, wow. This guy is scary. And we had talked about that his next 2 years, these were going to be the most dangerous times for the Republic. And indeed they are, folks, and it's just beginning.
Well, I mean, he most definitely said that, and, I was absolutely blown away, but, it was nice to know I still have a voice. My opinion counts.
Yeah, I guess I get none.
You get nada. You get nada.
Yeah, I get no
So
opinion.
I am going to call on all of my Native American buddies out there, you conservative Native Americans out there, that we need to make sure that this regime knows we have spoken. And we don't want immigrants. We don't want invaders. We don't want illegals. We don't want your little drug-infested, disease-infected, schmoozing deal makers with Mexico crap here. Send them back. And let's be clear, his amnesty deal has not given them citizenship yet. So,
No, it has not.
Send them back.
But now we're finding out, that because of Obamacare, they're basically companies are getting a $3,000 incentive to hire illegals. And then they said there was something that came out today also that proves that they can qualify for, and we talked about this a couple days ago already, for Medicare and for other social programs.
But wouldn't there be a legal challenge to that based on E-Verify, which was actually passed by a bipartisan group?
I would assume so. I would assume so.
One would think that there would be a legal challenge there.
You would think they could tie up the rest of his 2 years of his presidency with legal challenges in court. But, of course, he's just going to keep pushing forward. He's got nothing to lose at this point. He's going to keep pushing forward. And he's made that very obvious.
I wonder how many Democrats come January are going to climb on board with the Republicans to make sure that they hold their seats in 2016.
That'll be interesting.
And if they do, if we can get enough of them to do that and remind them that we are going to continue to come out in full force until things get pulled back, maybe they will override his power of veto.
That's possible.
I mean, we don't need that many of them to cross the aisle.
And how many independents do we have now? "Quote unquote" independents. They're basically Democrats.
That's a joke.
Usually.
Yeah.
There's maybe one or two of those.
Yeah, we have two.
I mean, let's see what happens.
But I mean, the representatives that we sent up there, guys, we need to really get on the phone between now and January 1st and remind them we did not send them to compromise. We sent them to pull back the reins and put a stop to the madness. Put a stop to the tyranny. Put a stop to the shredding of our Constitution. Put a stop to the dismantling of our Bill of Rights.
Amen.
So between now and January, we have to get on the phone with these newly elected individuals and the old guard that will be returning and remind them of this, that there is no room for compromise anymore. And if that means everybody sits there on their hands all day long, then that's how they sit all day long. Nobody makes a move if we can't pull it back. We've got the majorities. We have to do something. We don't vote on anything if we can't pull back. And is that going to be a hard course? Yes. And are we going to see? Are we going to see more of the memes and advertisements and everything else about those Republicans? They voted down on welfare and they voted down on increased wages for our military and all of those things that they like to do. Yes, but it is for a purpose and it is only temporary, people. If we can only hold the course and look beyond the immediate discomfort,
Right.
Guys, we've got to take another break.
Yes, we do.
We'll be back in a few moments.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
How are things with the new guy?
All we do is go out to dinner.
That's it?
I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great.
Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants.
So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh.
No, I got it.
The Citi Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to citi.com/thankyoucards.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13. Now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back to WTF. It's What the F Wednesday. I'm V. Wright.
And I'm Jose.
Hola, senor.
Hola.
Well, we've got some breaking news, guys, going on in Ferguson that we need to let you guys know about. Sources on the ground tonight, over 1,000 businesses are protected by Oath Keepers, all armed with AR-15s. They have people in front, back, and on the roof with weapons of businesses in Ferguson, Shaw, and other areas that have been hit by the protesters. So thank you to our Oath Keepers for going out there. You know, I had said this earlier, you know, we need the individuals to stand up. We don't need the National Guard, etc., picking up, the military, the feds, picking up the slack here. Let people protect their own. And I am so glad to hear this. But that's what's going on in Ferguson right now. Over 1,000 businesses are being protected by Oath Keepers, all armed. They are in the fronts, backs, and on the roofs of the businesses in Ferguson, Shaw, and other areas in the St. Louis area being hit. So we are very glad to hear that. I've got another WTF moment.
Yes, we do.
Reggie Bush. You know, guys, the running back with the Detroit Lions. You know, the one that had his Heisman Trophy taken away. He says that the Palestinian people know what it means to be shot while unarmed because of their ethnicity. And he's been posting pics of him holding a poster stating that on Instagram. Well, obviously he's pro-Palestinian, but he's reaching out to sympathize with the thugs and the looters and the rioters. You know, those folks that can steal everything but, I don't know, work boots in Ferguson. You know, this is who he's reaching out to. Now, of course, he didn't play this past weekend. I don't know what's up with that because I don't follow sports, so I don't care. But I knew that there were some of you out there that would like to know that Reggie Bush is saying the pro-Palestinian people can sympathize with the poor black sweet Swisher Brown in Ferguson. What the F, indeed.
I can't believe the temerity of some of these people to say things like that. And I gotta think they believe it.
Well, he most definitely believes it. I mean, in all honesty, if he didn't believe it, would he not be placing himself in jeopardy with coming out and saying something like that? I mean, you know, I give him credit for having the courage of his convictions to actually say it. But, you know, I put him in the same basket with Holly weirdos.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
I've got another one too, V.
What you got?
Senator Chuck U. Schumer, our old buddy over there, says that Obamacare...
You mean the one that has his lips permanently attached to the backside of the Comrade Caliph in the White Mosque?
I do believe he is very up close and personal, which makes and having said that makes this all the more a what the F moment today. And boy, I'll tell you what, he got some people riled up. Good old Senator Chuck U. Schumer says that Obamacare passage was a mistake. What the F? Now, of course, folks,
no,
he
didn't.
But once again, what is it with all these Democrats? You got Gruber, now you've got Chuck U. All these Democrats coming out and saying what we've always known all along, but admitting it and getting it out into the open. And let me go off on a rant here. You can say what you want about Gruber, and I'll tell you what, this guy is scum, and he's profited off it very handsomely. Believe me, I think millions and millions of dollars from different agencies and different states as well. But what he is saying and the truth that he is putting out there that we all knew all along, or at least believed we knew all along, he's putting it out there and basically handing us a beautiful present with a big red bow on it. I mean, holy smokes, this is waking up in the morning on Christmas, and you've got that beautiful new Ford F-350 dually 4-wheel drive 4x4 sitting in your driveway. I mean, This is what this is. But what is it with them all of a sudden that they're all coming out and saying things that we've known for the last several years, and they're all of a sudden just saying it and coming. And these are high-ranking.
There's got to be a catch. There's got to be a catch. You have to wonder if he's planning a presidential run.
You got to think something, or they're distancing themselves from the African for the last 2 years. Something is going on here. But once again, I've been told never look a gift horse in the mouth, and I'll tell you what, we need to take everything they're giving us and run with it and use it, you know, to our advantage, whether it be court cases at the Supreme Court level or different things like that, trying to get this POS law repealed and gone because it's hurting people. You know, we've had stories the last several weeks. We've had stories about the people that it's affecting and real people that are getting hurt by it badly.
Well, it needs to go, but its intention was to destroy the middle class.
Right.
And they knew this. Gruber knew this. The regime knew this. Your high-ranking rank-and-file Democrats knew this. We knew this and fought it with everything that we had. 52% of the American population knew this. And they crammed it down our throats anyway. And do you know that Nancy Pelosi is still standing behind it, still as late as today, still saying that Obamacare is the best thing since sliced bread and gravy?
That woman, well, I'm not going to say it. I mean, I think we all know. I think the Botox has finally leached into her brain, whatever she may have had left. But of course, she's enjoying life, and she's a multimillionaire. She can. I mean, at that point, you can just say whatever you want. I mean, some people will believe you, and the other people know that you're crazy as a
half-wit.
A half-wit is a good way to put it. I was going to say something else that might be unmentionable on the air.
You know, if you took two rocks and beat them together, what the powder that resided left over would be the content of Nancy Pelosi's head.
But anything, that they had to pass in the middle of the night the way they did and had to bend arms of Democrats to do it, and not one single Republican voted for it. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. But I'll tell you, like I said, you've kind of got to be thankful for them in a way, because especially that Gruber, I don't know if it's just a high level of narcissism and that, I'm the greatest thing that there ever is, and he's bragging about it. But whatever the reason is, folks, is he's putting it out there, and he's giving us a ton of information about the thought processes. And also, now that they're looking into him, they're saying he went to the White House and he spoke directly with the president, who denies involvement with him.
Didn't
and all these
know
other
him.
People that
he doesn't know him.
Yeah, Pelosi too said she didn't know anything about him. Reid, all of them, and once again, they bald-faced lie through their teeth about it, about things that can be, and then the information comes out. But of course, do you hear anybody else talking about it? Nope, crickets from the mainstream media. But like I said, the information they're putting out there, especially Gruber, is going to be very beneficial, I believe, at some point. And and most of us are sitting there thinking, well, gee, we kind of knew that, or we suspected that, but now we're getting details.
I think the situation with Gruber was he was speaking in groups, of private conferences. I don't think that he ever thought anyone would go searching for what he had to say. And let's think about this. This guy that went through and found all this information spent hours upon hours upon hours listening to every YouTube video that had Gruber's name attached to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And out of all the ones that he located, all the ones he listened to, he only located 6. So can you imagine the thousands of hours that he put into trying to find this information? Right. So Gruber never thought that anyone would go to that level of effort. And, beyond that, this guy was turned down by every media outlet out there to report it. So when I say that there aren't investigative journalists anymore, that's true. If it isn't spoon-fed to them, no one goes and looks for it. About the only place that you can get information anymore, in all honesty, that is actually somebody went and searched for it, is through Judicial Watch. And that's because they have to sue the pants off of them to find anything. Everything else is shut down. There is no First Amendment with the government anymore. Unless you take them to court.
Right.
And that's a sad, sad thing. Again, I reiterate that between now and January 1st, we have to get on the telephone with our newly elected and remind them why we sent them, so that they do not buy into the hype that the regime is selling. And that the Democrats are selling, and that, in all honesty, top rank and file Republicans are selling. Oh, it's time to compromise. They sent us to work together. No, we did not send you to work together.
They're going to have to hear from us, folks, and boy, are they going to ever have to hear from us. It's very apparent.
We need to remind, John Boehner and Mitch McConnell and other likes of that, Trey Gowdy, all of these, Ted Cruz, all of them need to be reminded, we did not elect them to work together. We did not elect them to compromise. Mm-hmm. And we've got between now and January 1st to make sure that they get that message loud and clear.
Yes. And after that, indeed, we're going to have to keep right. And we knew that. We knew if we could at least get them elected that the job was just beginning. In fact, probably the easiest part is done. And there was a definitive date. Now for the next 2 years, we're going to have to be awake and aware and willing to, contact them and keep our foot firmly planted against their rear ends.
Well, stand on their necks. I mean, honestly,
right.
We have to, we're in a situation in this country where we cannot tolerate them just dismissing us and doing what they want. We cannot tolerate compromise. We cannot tolerate them working together, because that means every time they work together, we lose freedoms. We lose rights. We get regulated to death. We get taxed to death. I mean, we cannot stand for this anymore. And we need to let them know, quite honestly, folks, and I know some of you guys are going to say, oh my God, I can't believe she said this. I would rather, if they're not going to do it, just go ahead and pave the road to hell quickly.
Yeah.
Adapt and move on and, kiss free America's behind goodbye.
Yeah, this is what it all comes down to, and it's for our kids, and we have the responsibility. We did the Reagan quote, that it's only one generation away from extinction, for paraphrasing, freedom's only one generation away. And how are we going to explain that to our kids if we're the ones that let it go?
Exactly. Well, I've got a what the F moment here.
All right. Yeah, come on. Let's hear it.
We look at this situation in Ferguson, and it's easy to side with Officer Darren Wilson because we know what it is, or we can imagine. Those that don't know can imagine what it is to be confronted by someone who truly intimidates you, right. And never knowing what dangers await you with an individual. There too often we walk away from situations that we would normally like to challenge, but given the threat of confrontation and never knowing whether someone has a gun or if they're drug crazed or what have you, we let it go. But that's not to say that there are not some police that carry things too far either. And this is just one such case. In Mesa County, Colorado, a man has been arrested and charged with felony menacing. This was after 2 deputies stated they were in fear for their lives when Nathan Roth pulled and aimed a yellow object at them in a menacing and threatening fashion. It was a banana! What the F?
A banana. Wow.
I'm not lying to you.
Did it have the little orange tip on it and stuff like that so they could clearly identify it?
The police said he was aiming a banana at them, and they felt in fear of their lives.
Oh, wow.
And now this man is facing felony menacing charges in Colorado for wielding a banana. My grandson does that to me on a regular basis. He's 4 years old. And he goes pow, pow, pow with it.
We're going to have to ban bananas in schools. I hear that's coming next. It's going to be banana-free zones, folks. We can't have those bananas in schools.
Jeez.
Oh, boy. Well, we're very quickly becoming a banana republic. But the problem is we won't have bananas or a republic, so I'm not sure what that's going to look like.
You don't think Mexico will send us any bananas?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think if we're going to take their infected, diseased, and invaders, that they should at least ship us some bananas.
Oh, but wait a minute. They can use their green trains that we're going to be subsidizing, so they'll have a low, what do they call that? Impact? Whatever.
The overhead should be next to nothing.
Right. So we should. So then we should even get a discount on our bananas.
Well, I think we should get them for free. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, we should get them for free. Our green bananas for free.
I don't want the green bananas. Those are for cooking.
They have to ship them green so that they're yellow in the stores.
Right, but I thought you were talking about the green bananas that actually stay there for cooking and stuff that they use overseas. They actually just stay green all the time and they cook with them. We had those a lot in Haiti.
Oh,
my bad.
Lord.
But yeah, wow. Got to put little orange tips on them though, so the officers aren't feel threatened. If they went in their general direction.
Can you believe that? With all the madness in this country, I'm going to feel threatened by a banana. I'm going to be in fear for my life over a banana.
Well, that's the whole thing.
What the
fear for your life. I mean, that's pretty strong wording there.
Over a banana.
Wow.
My grandson is destined for jail.
Yep, he's headed there. What are you in for, buddy? I had a banana.
What'd you get? 20 to life?
Yeah. Yep, there's not going to be any strike 3 and you're out. I tell you what, that puts you right to the top of the most wanted list right there.
Oh, good gracious. And then you have situations like this. Teenage girl arrested for pimping out high school for girls on Facebook. What the F?
Oh, my word. You've got to tell me about I haven't seen that one. I've got to hear about that one.
Well, in Venice, Florida, the police arrested a 17-year-old girl on Friday for running an underage prostitution ring on Facebook. She was organizing an exchange between fellow high school girls and gentlemen for cash and alcohol. No lie. One such situation was from a 21-year-old man. His name is Josh Mosher, just in case we ain't got nobody else's name, but we got his. And he was arrested after engaging in an activity with a 15-year-old in exchange for $40 and a bottle of alcohol. Wait a minute, it does give a name. The deal and at least 2 others like it were arranged by Alexa Nicole DiArmos, 17, and another student from Venice High School, which she put on her Facebook page. Why pimp out old hoes when I have fresh young hoes I can give up for money?
Oh.
As long as I'm getting paid, I'm trafficking all these hoes.
This country's pretty much going to hell at this point. Wow.
What the F?
What the F indeed. She's
a kid.
Goodness. Oh my God.
Well, what's bad is now, because of the investigation, they're finding that she might have spread out her empire to include Riverview High School.
Oh my.
And there is no telling how many students from these Sarasota County schools are involved.
Wow. Go capitalism, huh? I mean, I'm trying to look at a positive aspect of it, but that is pretty
How about if she was my 17-year-old daughter? The difference between today and tomorrow would be child abuse or simple assault. I'm just saying.
But they've got to be able to find the body first before they can prove that, right? Because without body, there's no crime.
That's it. Telling you. My daughter tried that one time. The day she turned 17 years old, because in my state, when you're 17 years old, you are a legal adult. Makes no sense to me since you can't sign a legal contract. But okay, you're old enough to go to jail. You're old enough to tell your parents to get lost. They can't tell you what to do and all of those good things. And I'll never forget the day she turned 17. And she says, you can't tell me what to do. I can now do what I want to. And I looked at her and I said, you know what the difference between today and yesterday was? She goes, no, what? I said, yesterday it was child abuse and today it's simple assault. That's it. That's it. So, ding, ding, little girl, you want to go there? Let's go.
Oh, my goodness.
She toned down her directive quickly.
I would, well, if she's obviously a smart kid then, in some respects. She can be taught then, in other words.
Like giving a dog a shock collar.
Hopefully nobody takes this whole conversation out of context and listens to the whole conversation. Otherwise,
Oh, good gracious. I'm telling you. This is absolutely insane. But, I mean, this is where the morality of our country has gone to.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, even those children that go to church, I mean, they leave church and it's lost. It's there. It's gone.
And of course now they don't want to go on Sunday if they're from the Church of England. I mean, they don't, heaven forbid.
Well, and how long is it going to be before that spreads?
Right. Sure. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. It is, and not only is it going, now that it's made public in England, look at all the atheists and liberal Democrats and communists and everything else that are going to be encouraging pastors of this nation to do the same.
Uh-huh.
And given the regulation that's coming forward, the cost of electricity and all of these other all of these expenses are fixing to go through the roof.
Uh-huh.
It's anticipated that houses of worship are going to cut back on their hours.
Right.
And that's a sad day, folks.
It really is. Well, and I think that's all pre-planned too, or at least the ideas, hoping that they can make that happen, because that's the beginning of the destruction of the country, is when we turn away from God.
Well, absolutely. And, I was thinking about the electricity and everything else and the regulations that are coming down to control everything, for control and power.
Right.
Guys, some estimates that I saw a few months ago were that if these initiatives went through, our electric bills would immediately, within 6 months, rise by 50%.
I can't. Wow. I don't need that, and I'm sure nobody else out there wants that either.
I mean, between Obamacare and your electric bill and the rate that everything else is going to rise because of higher cost.
Yeah, it has a cascading effect. Mm-hmm.
How is middle class going to survive?
They don't want it to survive. No matter what they say, they don't want the middle class to survive. It never does in communist countries.
Well,
never
that's
does.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
And they want single payer. That's the whole insurance thing, too. Obamacare was just a step in that direction. They knew they couldn't get there the whole way, so they just took a big step, got Obamacare, and unless we can repeal it or do something to it, they want single payer ultimately. That's what that's all about. They've got the end game in mind, and they'll take the long view and how to get there. They'll take small baby steps to get there.
Well, exactly. Well, guys, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. We want you guys to go and spend time with your friends and family, and enjoy your day. Try not to induce a food coma.
Watch that tryptophan.
Exactly.
It'll sneak up and get you.
I read something today. Make sure not to mix your turkey with your alcohol.
What if you have wild turkey? Oh, wait, never mind. I think John Boehner's probably half in a bottle of that right now.
Oh, that would not surprise me none at all. You guys make sure to, tune into our other CPR programming. Of course, we have Right Side Patriots there on Wednesday and Saturday. And, of course, state legislators of the Roundtable are on Tuesday night following us. And on Friday night from 8 to 10, make sure to check out those. And, of course, we have some wonderful programming and DJs and music here on CPR Worldwide Media.com. Make sure to tune it in. We've got to be one of the best out there because of the sponsor. We've got sponsors like Ford Motor Company, Universal Studios, Citigroup, and Citizens United. So we're doing something right here on this network, and we're proud to be here. Make sure to send us anything that any little story or what have you that we could read on air tomorrow night. We do not have to include your name, or we can, if you would not like us to read your name, then please just ask us to keep it anonymous. Send us that information on what you're thankful for. We all have things to be thankful for, and I think tomorrow is a good day to remember that. Jose, I'm going to let you carry us out of here.
Well, thank you, folks, for being with us. And we do this because we love it. And we're going to be with you tomorrow night. If you can join us, we would love to have you. We just we're going to be thankful for things